This is iFIBER 1 News. Here are today's top stories.
The Commissioner's hearing room was filled to capacity Wednesday afternoon to discuss the possibility of moving juvenile detention to Martin Hall in Medical Lake.
It's been busier than usual at Samaritan Healthcare in Moses Lake, with all the construction going on at the hospital and clinic.
A Wenatchee police officer has been cleared in the fatal shooting of a 31-year-old man outside Albertsons in July.
The state deputy fire marshal, along with local Ephrata Fire Chief Jeremy Burns, want to remind the holiday celebrators of a few fire and safety tips.
From the iFIBER 1 newsroom, this is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
The Commissioner's hearing room was filled to capacity Wednesday afternoon to discuss the possibility of moving juvenile detention to Martin Hall in Medical Lake. About 20 people spoke during the meeting, many voicing concerns over using Martin Hall for juvenile detention. General concerns from the public included family barriers, changes and restrictions in services, keeping local control over detention, and creating a disconnect between juvenile offenders and their community.
Keep in mind, we're not saying we're going to do this. We're not proposing to do this. We're taking a look at it. We're trying to be accountable as your commissioners, accountable as employers, and take a look at what is probably the best for Grant County, and that's why you're here today.
Commissioner Cindy Carter said estimated cost savings for the county by moving detention to Martin Hall would be roughly $484,000 a year. Carter said the county is currently paying about $133,000 per juvenile detained per year. A proposal from Martin Hall officials would drop those costs to either $65,000 or $73,000 per year per juvenile, depending on if the county was paying $180 per day or $200 per day for 8 beds at Martin Hall. While much of the public comment was opposed to a possible move, Grant County Sheriff Tom Jones addressed concerns with current aspects of the county's juvenile detention system, including restrictions on intake of non-felony or domestic violence offenders. He called the system frustrating for local law enforcement. Grant County Commissioners say no further meetings are planned at this time concerning juvenile detention, and many questions still need to be answered. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
This segment is brought to you by
Maytag and the family Pooch have a lot in common. Both are loyal, both aim to please, and both are tenacious dish cleaners. But only one can sanitize. Maytag, what's inside matters.
Maytag Appliances, now available at more furniture in Ephrata. It's been busier than usual at Samaritan Healthcare in Moses Lake, with all the construction going on at the hospital and clinic. Samaritan has already spent $1.1 million in renovations and additions to the hospital's emergency department, and it's in the process of a $1.2 million renovation on the first floor of its clinic. Samaritan's Gretchen Youngren says the biggest addition during the renovation was the hospital's flex care facility on the first floor.
Samaritan embarked on this 9-month project last December to really improve patient and staff safety here in our Samaritan Emergency Department. We can see up to 75 patients in a 24-hour period here, and with the addition of flex care, we now have the ability to take the less acute patients, the patients who may have an ear infection, on the hours where urgent care is closed but you want to get your kiddo in. Samaritan Emergency Department now has the ability to take those patients, get them treated and on their way, so that we have the flexibility to treat the higher need patients back in the main ED.
As far as the clinic building is concerned, Youngren says the renovations open up the layout on the first floor, which improves patient accessibility and adds a dining area operated by the Red Door Cafe.
At Samaritan, when patients used to come in, you would have to go through walls and doors to access a person. Our thought process around healthcare is that it should be a personal touch. You should be able to walk through the front door and make eye contact with somebody at urgent care to say, hey, I'm not feeling well, how could I get in to see a provider? Now, our walls are taken down so patients can easily access urgent care. They come out of urgent care and they may need labs, they can go right across the hallway into the lab. It's a different concept, but it's a new, innovative way of thinking, and we're really excited to bring that to Moses Lake. Construction work there should wrap up in the early part of 2018. The hospital plans to renovate the second and third floor of the clinic over the next 5 to 10 years. I'm Sean Goggins for iFIBER 1 News.
A Wenatchee police officer has been cleared in the fatal shooting of a 31-year-old man outside Albertsons in July. In a report released Wednesday, Chelan County Prosecutor Doug Shea stated there's no basis for criminal charges to be filed against Officer Albert Gonzalez in the case, adding there's no evidence the officer acted recklessly or negligently. Shea was asked to review the investigation by the North Central Washington Special Investigation Unit. According to the report, 31-year-old Matthew Folden was shot 3 times the night of July 27th after reportedly not obeying the officer's commands to get on the ground. Folden then allegedly charged the officer while armed with a small knife. Shea stated audio and video recordings show Gonzalez yelled, "Get on the ground," 3 times to Folden. The report also shows Folden had alcohol and methamphetamine in his system at the time of the shooting. Officer Gonzalez returned to work earlier this month. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
As Halloween nears and jack-o'-lanterns are lit, the State Deputy Fire Marshal, along with local iFIBER Fire Chief Jeremy Burns, want to remind the holiday celebrators of a few fire and safety tips. Make sure children know how to stay away from heat sources and open flames, along with keeping decor in safe distance of such. Use battery-operated lights and candles when possible, and make sure not to overload power outlets. Parents should walk with their trick-or-treaters, making sure they obey traffic laws and have some sort of light stick.
We want to remind all of Grant County residents with the holidays upcoming to make sure that we're not overloading electrical outlets, make sure that we're not using candles, we're using some kind of a lighted device or a battery-powered device in place of candles during this holiday season so we can have a much safer season and reduce the fires. People often think that the fire department is there to respond, but we're also there to prevent. So if you have any questions about any of these devices, or if you have questions about safety and decorating safety, or heating safely during the winter, we'd like to remind you to contact your local fire department, either here in Ephrata or throughout Grant County.
Happy Halloween! I'm Madison Meyer with iFIBER 1 News.
Pretty nice this week in the Basin. Hi, Jeff Slakey from the iFIBER 1 Weather Center taking a look at this week's forecast. For Monday, low 60s with partly cloudy skies. Should burn off, and a beautiful Tuesday, about sunny and 60. For Wednesday, mid-60s and mostly sunny skies. The sun continues on through the week. Thursday into the weekend, low 60s. And as I keep my eyes out for Halloween coming up a week from Tuesday, sunny, 55, no rain in the evening. For iFIBER 1, I'm Jeff Slakey.
This is iFIBER 1 News. For more information on these stories and other news, visit us online at iFiber1.com or check us out on Facebook.